So, is being a Christian easy? Yes and no. When I think about if Christianity is easy, I think of it as I think that it can be difficult. Difficult in the sense that it's literally going against your natural nature, your natural behaviors, rather. It goes against who you are as a human being. And it's a grind because you have habits that you form and you have to get rid of those habits. Some of those habits are bad and you have to change those things. It's literally dying. And whenever you are going against the wind, it's usually tough. It's usually strenuous because you have to exert more force, more power to push forward and push through. And it's like, let's think of it like this. In the movie Lethal Weapon, Mel Gibson's character Riggs would separate his shoulder multiple times. In order to get it popped back in place, he would bash up against the wall, and that's painful. I know it's acting, but it looks like it hurts, and I know there's some people that do that. But the imagery is consistent with my point, because there are things about us that we have to change, that the Lord is changing in us, that's painful. If it's something that is out of place, he has to reconnect it, and sometimes that reconnection hurts. So it's hard. It's hard in the sense that there's some people that you've been friends with or a person that you've been dating, and it comes to a point to where you have to go your own way. You have to break away from that. That's hard. Something that you love, a job, a hobby, and Laura says, okay, I need you to move. I need you to do this. I need you to leave. That's hard because you held on to that. That's tough. That's not easy. Anybody that acts like that's easy is a liar. Okay, that's maybe just too strong. I'll say that they're exaggerating or they're not being realistic. The Spirit of God in us makes things that makes this walk easier, but it's still hard. It's the truth. When you really honestly sit back and think about it, someone would say, it's challenging. No matter how you try to word it, no matter how you try to spin it, walking with God is a challenge. If it wasn't a challenge, let's look back. Let's go all the way to the beginning of Christ's ministry, right? And you have the apostles, they left things for God. They left things for Jesus. But then you will always have people who were drawn to the message of Christ. They were drawn to what he said. But then when it came time to count the cost, when it came time to carry the cross, when it came time to put their money where their mouth was, people walked away frequently. When Jesus started teaching the hard stuff about following him, people left. That's not easy. And he will make statements as like, for example, he said, with great difficulty it will be for a rich person to enter into heaven. Or he would make statements like, anyone who puts their hand to the plow and looks back is not fit. Then he gave the analogy about a king going to war. You have to count the cost. Look at what you're giving up. Some people are okay with that. They're willing to give it up. There are so many times when you read, especially New Testament, that you will see the difficulty, the challenges for these people, for the disciples, for the apostles, as they try to spread the message. The greatest one of the greatest evangelists, Paul, used to murder Christians. Used to murder them. Used to lead the charge, lead the mobs. Held the mob's cloaks as they murdered Stephen. And he thought he was doing God's will. And you had the emperors who would round up the Christians and throw them to the lions and execute them in all sorts of gruesome ways. But they would also give them an opportunity to renounce Christ, because Christ was not only blasphemous to the Jews, but he was blasphemous to the Romans, because he was blasphemous to their gods. So you mean to tell me it was easy, knowing that you're facing death in the eyes? And they say, oh, okay, that's cool. No. Because it was a moment within. They wrestled. It was like, okay, do I flee with my life, or am I just going to hold on to my Lord? Some people want to define that as a challenging moment, but I think that's minimizing it. I think it's more broad than that, because it's literally going against the grain. Like I said earlier, the Holy Spirit does make it easier. But facing the hatred of the world is hard, especially when you're misunderstood. I get that. I get the attacks against your mind, against your spirit. I get the depression. I get the hate mail that you get. I get all of that. I understand it. And it's not always easy. But then that's where the Lord gives his peace. Christ knew. He knew how hard it would be. And that's why the Holy Spirit is with us. In the garden, he wrestled. He wanted to find another way. So is there any other way? Constantly, Christ had to reassure the apostles, take heart, for I've overcome the world. I'm with you. Don't lose heart. Because he knew how hard it would be. He knew how hated they would be. How hated we would be. But we want to have this idea that, oh, so great and glorious. Well, maybe it's great and glorious and easy for us American Christians, because we don't face that type of persecution. So yeah, it may be easy over here. And just listen to somebody, talk smack about us. That's nothing. Our lives are not in real danger. So of course, to us American Christians, it's easy. And there's some of us American Christians that are a little soft, because when we think somebody's speaking against us, oh my God, I'm being persecuted. That's not real persecution. Over there in the Middle East, that's real persecution, where people are being hunted and killed, demanded to renounce Christ or die. That's persecution. That's hard. This isn't hard. So it's all about perspective. But realistically, Christianity isn't hard, but it is hard. It isn't hard when you walk in the Spirit of God and God continues to give you his peace, because he comforts you, he's with you. But then it's hard as you face yourself, as you face the crowds, and you have to make that decision. It's hard facing yourself, because you think, maybe I'm so great. And then God says, no. Let's look at this. Look at you. You don't look that great to me right now. You see that pride? You see that arrogance? You see that unforgiveness that you have there? You see all that nastiness. What's up? What are we gonna do about it? One of the things that I always do is I constantly ask God to show me myself. Show me who I am. Show me what you don't like about me so we can fix it. Because I don't ever want to get to the spot so where I think that I arrived and that I'm so amazing and awesome that I don't need help. Because I need help. All the help that I can get from now until the day I pass on. And maybe even after I pass on, who knows? But it's a journey. It will be difficult. Like he said, the road to heaven is narrow. A few will find it. How? Think about it. There's so many people that think they know the way, and they go, but they don't die to themselves. They don't choose Christ and really willingly die to themselves. They just try to live any kind of way, or they just don't believe at all. It's hard, man, in that sense. So that's just my thought. That's just my thoughts on whether the walk with God is hard or not. Like, I get it. I get when you have to give up things that you love. You have to willingly put it on the altar. And then you're afraid if God's going to honor that. There's some things you don't even want to bring to God because you're like, okay, I don't know how you feel about this. This is really dear to me. And I'm afraid to give this to you because I have no idea what you're going to say. I'm afraid you're going to take it away. And most likely he probably will. But then he'll flip it. Maybe he won't take it away. Or maybe he'll just repurpose it. We don't know. But we have to get to that point to where we're constantly dying. We're constantly decreasing and humbling ourselves so Christ can grow. His presence can grow more and more within us. And so we're like him. Remember, Christ likeness is the goal. So we just have to get to that point. And like I said, that part's kind of hard. Because you have to keep constantly making conscious decisions to humble yourself. And as you do that, that gets easier. Then it starts becoming easier when you start dying. The more you die to yourself, the easier it will get. Because then you won't have to face your flesh a lot. But then you also have those external forces of people or situations that will challenge you. But since you're so used to dying to yourself, you're going to just react how Christ would, or how he would prefer you to act. So it's hard in the beginning, but the more you die, the easier it becomes. So that's my take, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, if you liked the video, or if you didn't like the video, just like the video. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. I thank you for listening to me ramble, and I'll catch you next time.